Hello everyone, it's Mike from Chess Lifestyle, and today we are training, unfortunately only 38 minutes because I do have a couple chess lessons still to teach, and this is basically the only chance I can squeeze in this stream unless I stay up super late. But yeah, no, today's been really nice day. Got to spend a lot of it outdoors. And I actually went to check out the Sapporo Winter Olympics Museum. And there were some pretty cool exhibits there. And the one thing I will just share in particular is that there was this one, I guess, essay, like short autobiography about an ice skater called Janet Lin. And I love reading about, like, athletes who have dedicated their entire lives to a single profession and single sport. And it was just really interesting to read about, her experience trying to compete at the top stage. So, always appreciate learning from fellow athletes, if I can consider myself one, which I probably am not. But yeah, we're gonna get into Woodpecker. I will not do the the stream overlay gambit today, which we did at the start of yesterday's stream. So yeah, we're gonna continue with these intermediate exercises. And yeah, I see a comment from Arjun. So let me read it. Welcome to the stream, by the way. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, hope you're doing well too. I don't want to come across as being annoying, but I'd love to have a game of chess, maybe a training game. Any opening you want to practice or something? Well, unfortunately, probably not in these streams because, yeah, I'm on this Woodpecker method grind, and I mean, I absolutely despise doing Woodpecker method. I mean, I'd much prefer play you in a game, but this is the whole point of these streams, that I need to put in this work, otherwise my classical chess is going to suffer in the summer, and I know the difference in terms of my ability when I'm tactically sharp and when I'm not. So yeah, unfortunately, no, I'm going to have to just grind this, but if you want to play some training games, we could sort something out. Probably not for free though. That's my only caveat. Unless you're higher rated than me, then I would be probably willing to play. But yeah, I've got to be efficient with my time, right? Like, unfortunately, I can't just accept challenges from everyone. Otherwise, yeah, this would become my entire life. So hope that makes sense. But yeah, let's do some Woodpecker training. Let's go. But what I would say is, though, Arjun, if you write to me on Lichess, I can add you to the Discord, the Chess Lifestyle Discord. It's not very active, but you might be able to find some training partners there to spar against, who may have a bit more time, may be more willing to play. So definitely get in touch. You know my Lichess, I'm guessing, like Ponziani Master. You should be able to find it. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's solve this. So. Just checking one thing. Okay. Yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so okay, queen, 2 rooks and a knight. Okay, let me make a note of one thing real quick. Yeah, just something popped up on my phone that I need to sort out. So I'll do that afterwards. But yeah, okay, no more distractions. Let's get into this. So, Okay, I mean, at first glance, it seems like this classic like knight e7, and then queen h7, king h7, and then rook h4. If knight e7, queen takes, then we take with the queen. So I think that's just it. Yeah, nothing else to calculate. Okay, they want to get checkmated instead. Fine by me. Okay, nice easy one to begin with. If you know the, I think it's called Anastasia's mate. I'm looking forward to a summer of chess too. Fantastic. Yeah, like it's always exciting to play like a string of tournaments. I mean, it's probably, I mean, I haven't had a year off from classical chess in such a long time. So yeah, it's going to be exciting to see, yeah, what ends up happening there. Okay, so what's going on with this one? Queen 2 rooks against queen, rook, knight, and bishop. We've got an extra pawn though. I mean, at first glance, it looks like rook e8 looks very promising, but of course, you know, they're not forced to capture. So, okay, let's take this one a little bit more slow. Okay, actually, guys, I need to just sort out one thing real quick, and then I'll be able to have full focus on this. So, yeah, give me like 1 second, and I'll be back. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Yeah, I can focus properly again. So, yeah, let's solve this. Okay, so yeah, so we've got rook and pawn against knight and bishop. The rook on d8 is loose, the queen on b2 is loose, the bishop on f5 is loose. There is pressure on our a1 rook. There is also a risk of back rank checkmate for us. So, okay, what candidates come to mind? Yeah, also welcome Wanna Be Rated, and yeah, good job with that correct answer from the first exercise we solved. Okay, so what candidate moves come to mind? Rook e8 is a check, has to be looked at. I guess queen e8 maybe to consider. We should look at all of our checks, so queen e6, queen d5, queen c4. Queen c4 is a safe square check. Queen c4 is a typical kind of move I would never spot without forcing myself to look at all the checks. I guess rook d1, potentially, to get out of the harm's way of the queen and also put pressure on this rook. Probably one of these should be winning. And if not, then we can look for more candidates. So if we start with rook e8, okay, of course they can't take us because queen takes is checkmate. Rook e8, king f7 is forced. I don't really see a follow-up there. Maybe queen c4 check, sacrifice the rook, bring the other rook in, rook e1. That should be here. Yeah, I'm not quite seeing it, so I think put it on hold and look at my other candidate moves. So what about queen c4 first? Queen c4 check, does that lead anywhere? They could play king h8, king f8. Yeah, I'm not too sure. I mean, queen e6, queen d5 really don't work. I mean, the queen just gets lost. What about rook d1, rook a d1? That was another candidate. Rook a d1, if they take our rook, then we've got queen e8 checkmate. Rook a d1. Let's say they play king f8. Rook f8. Rook a d1, rook f8. What can we do there? I guess we could play queen d5 check. And if king h8, we can go queen takes f5. Because if rook takes f5, we've got rook e8 check. So yeah, rook a d1 is starting to look very strong. Rook a d1, rook f8, queen d5, rook f7. Then we've got rook e8 with mate. So rook d1. What else can be tried? Maybe queen f6, but then rook takes d8, queen takes d8, rook e8, and we win the queen. So yeah, I'm pretty set on rook d1. Is there any other candidate moves I'm missing? We have no checks, except for taking this, which is horrendous. They can't move this rook off the back rank without allowing this mate. Looks like the move. Yeah, and this was where I gave this check. They can't block here with the bishop, they can't block here with the rook. If they move the king, we take the bishop. If they take us, then we get this back rank. So I think this is good. Nice. I'm really happy about this one because this is actually one that I don't have any memory of. And I'm pretty sure I got this one wrong in the past. But it's like, I feel like, you know, I'm considering more candidates, more ways in which to disrupt my opponent's defense. And just taking note of more things, like understanding that this bishop is hanging, understanding that could be a tactical theme to exploit. So, yeah, love to see it, basically. Rook d1, good job, Webby. I haven't seen you on the stream, so welcome to these training streams. Yes, we're just grinding Woodpecker, trying to improve our tactical ability. Okay, black to play. So we've got queen, queen, rook for knight and bishop, bishop, bishop. So we've got bishop pair. Got 1, 3, 4 against 5. Okay, so what plan do we want to go for? I mean, we've got these menacing looking pieces around the white king. This guy's even helping over here. Definitely feels like we can try and pull something off there. This bishop's got some pressure, only defended by the queen, which we know is a weak defender. This rook is loose in the corner. This king may have some back rank issues. We may have some back rank issues. They're also up a pawn. I don't know if I mentioned that. So, yeah, we've got pawn and rook against two pieces again. So, yeah, black to play. A move that I'm suddenly looking into is what if we can actually play knight e2 and play this kind of idea to get this mate. But yeah, let's consider some candidates. So knight e2 as a candidate, knight takes g2 as a candidate. Maybe bishop h3 as a candidate. Yeah, I feel like knight g2, bishop takes g2. I have the feeling that that's more robust. Right, like bishop f3 could be met with queen f1. I feel like we're not crashing through as easily. I mean, might still be winning. So keep that in the back of my mind. But first I want to look at this knight e2. I do actually have a threat. I mean, we've got this threat, but how can we defend against it? Oh wait, they can just take the bishop? Yeah, so I should have noted that my bishop is hanging here. I forgot to pick up on this. So yeah, I need to be very careful. Yeah, and although that leaves their bishop hanging, I mean, they're even threatening this check. They're threatening our knight. Did I consider knight h3 as well as a candidate? I don't know if I did. Bishop e2 should be a candidate as well. Okay, loads and loads of candidates. So we've looked at knight g2, knight e2, both of them not jumping out at us as the correct answer. What about knight h3? Knight h3... I guess we're threatening knight f2, perhaps? In a roundabout way, yes, because let's say we get an extra move, we get this in, they're forced to do that, we give a discovered check, and unless they want to lose their queen, they have to go back, and we go knight g3 check, pawn takes, and we get our checkmate. So knight 3 does have a threat. But how can they stop it? Again, they can take the bishop, but this time we've got the fork. Knight h3, if they go rook f1, maybe we'd still do this jump, and actually we even have this discovered check where now the queen is no longer defending the rook, and the queen can take the rook once the king moves. So knight h3 is looking very good. What about the obvious capture, which I have forgotten to calculate? Well, of course, then there's bishop and queen takes. Or we can even be fancy and use the queen, but why be fancy when we can just make sure that we're winning with the queen? So I think knight 3 looks very good. Anything else to consider? No more checks from the opponent. You know, it's crazy that it's like even in 2022, I was still playing classical games. Even 2023, I was still playing classical games without considering checks, like for my opponent. Like I was just playing the moves and just, you know, vibing. Just absolutely insane. So yeah, I think knight 3 is looking really good. Knight 3, nah, there's nothing else to consider. Yeah. Okay, we can do both, but bishop is I mean, I don't like being fancy for the sake of it. Like, I would rather make sure that I guarantee the win. I mean, like, if I miss something, then at least I've still got a queen, you know? More chance that you mess up by sacking the queen, you know? Okay, good job, Mark. Knight h3 catches your eye. Fantastic. Yassine, welcome to the stream. Josh, welcome to the stream. Mark, welcome to the stream. How are you guys all doing? Yeah, we're just grinding Woodpecker because I've got some tournaments in August. Yeah, we're preparing quite early for it, but yeah, I want to get in shape for them. So, let's go again. Queen, rook, rook, queen, rook, rook. Bishop, knight, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, equal material. What do we notice on the board? We've got pressure on g7, we've got pressure on g4. Pressure on g7, pressure on g4. The bishop on b2 is loose, just worth making a note of. Okay, they're fully castled, they're fully developed. We haven't developed this rook on a1. In terms of pawn structure, I mean, they've got this isolated pawn. Maybe it's a slight weakness, but probably not so relevant. So, okay, we've understood the position. Now, let's try and understand the plan. So maybe it could be connected to this exposed knight. I mean, we are pressuring it there, only defending with the queen. So, as we know, the queen is a bad defender. So suddenly moves like knight f5, jump out. Maybe there's some combination of bishop g7 and knight f5. So every capture, every check should be considered. So, okay, what candidate moves do we have? We want to exploit this knight somehow. So knight f5 is one, bishop g7 is another. Anything else to consider? I mean, h3 or something, but they just drop back somewhere. Probably not enough. Knight h5 is a candidate move as well, like trying to go after this point on g7. Okay, so let's calculate each one. Bishop g7 is the most forcing, so let's look at that. If they don't take us, can they do anything to us? Knight f2 doesn't really do anything. Looks pretty forced to take the bishop, otherwise they're just down a pawn. Unless, wait, hold on a sec. Can they play f6? I mean, we could play knight f5 then. And secure the bishop. That looks pretty strong. And then we even give ourselves an option of retreating. So I think they have to take. If they take, then the whole idea was to go knight f5. The king moves somewhere, let's say king h8. Then take the knight, threaten mate, they go rook g8. We don't have a discovered check to hit the queen somehow, but the queen is defended. But we have won a pawn. We have won a pawn from this. So that looks pretty promising. Let's just compare if knight f5 is any better. Maybe we win a piece or something. Knight f5, we hit the knight. What if they just move the knight back somewhere? Maybe we could go knight g7 and play for f4, but then we will end up losing our f-pawn, probably. And it gives black more options. And also on knight f5, they can also go knight f6. And there we might not have anything. So yeah, I think bishop g7 is looking very good. Bishop g7, king g7, knight f5. Yeah, looks pretty good to me. Okay, let's go for it. Okay, so they did take on f2. For some reason, I didn't take this seriously, but I probably should have. I think for some reason I thought that I can just take it, and I forgot that I'm even losing the piece back and they've actually won a pawn. I thought I would just win a pawn. Yeah, that's really poor from me. Okay, so bishop g7, knight f2. So if king f2, they can go king g7. So what other candidates do I have? King f2, there's also queen d4. Maybe like queen h5 is useful as well. Because if they take our bishop, we got knight f5 check, and maybe we have some follow-up there. But maybe that's attacking on the wrong color somehow. If queen d4, and they save their knight, go back knight g4, maybe I don't have enough there. What do I play here? I'm really annoyed I missed this. Spent so damn long on the puzzle and I didn't even see this move. Queen d4, knight g4, bishop h8? What happens there? Yeah, I have no idea. I really have no idea. Because yeah, I don't think bishop h8 works there. Like queen d4, knight g4, bishop h8, they just go f6. So, okay, if I take the knight, they take the bishop. I'm also considering, like, maybe we do want to make use of this weakness, right? Like, play like queen d4 and then try and pick up the pawn. They've got bishop f6. If I take the pawn, they take my undeveloped rook. So, how am I supposed to deal with this? So what about this queen h5 idea I had? Oh, I don't know. It doesn't feel right. But what about, actually, if I play queen d4 and they play knight g4, what about knight f5 with the idea of trying to go for checkmate? Oh, but it's not checkmate because the knight is covering it. So I'm sure someone in chat has already worked all of this out, so I'm not going to look at chat. So annoying. So annoying. I think I've also realized one aspect that I don't like about tactics is like, if I have a position in a game and I miss a tactic, it's like there was an expectation on myself to be able to see that because it's in the position, right? But what I like about chess is the kind of like, you know, strategizing and finding like a really deep, like intricate, interesting plan, which might not be so obvious, even, I don't know, to an engine. Like maybe it's not even top engine move, but it like ends up being like a winning plan. So that's kind of like the stuff I find cool, because then it's like really like a skill issue, like in terms of whether you can do it or not. But it's like with the tactics, it's like if it's there, you should be able to do this, and it just feels incompetent to not be able to do it. But yeah, I guess that's why, you know, chess is like really a sport as opposed to just like a academic study or something. But it's just so frustrating. Like why can't I work this out? Okay, let's think about this calmly. My queen is attacked. I either have to move the queen or I have to take this knight. I literally don't have another move. I don't have any counterattacks, I don't have any mate threats. So where can I put this queen? I can put it on b1, c1, d2, d4, e2, f3, h5. Or I can take the bloody knight. So if I take the bloody knight and they take my bishop, what moves do I have here? So queen d4 doesn't look so good. JK unless bishop f6, I've got knight h5. There we go. That's the move I needed to see, which I wasn't able to see for the longest time. So in that case, if they can't play bishop f6, and I have to play some sorry move like, I don't know, king g8 or f6 or something, then we're definitely doing well because that king is weak, and probably we even have a consideration to grab this greedy pawn. So, okay, we can just take the knight. I want to die. I want to actually die. Are you kidding me? Okay, at least we got a full paragraph. Let's see what chat said. Yo, bro, just take the knight or screw you, man. You're also wrong. Okay, let's see. There's loads of people giving their thoughts on this one. So bishop g7 from Vebi, good job. When live chat doesn't even work on desktop for me, I mean, I don't know why you're still using Firefox, Jan. So we first consider candidate moves and then calculate lines. Yeah, that's right, exactly. So you don't want to just tunnel vision one line and calculate. You want to, have some different options so that you can kind of shallowly calculate into each one and compare the options. It's much more time efficient because you don't want to just waste all your time calculating one line and it doesn't work. Queen d4 checkmate. I don't see any checkmates. Welcome, Stephen, to the stream. Also, welcome, Adingoro. I haven't seen you here before, so welcome. Stephen says, I think queen d4 is logical since you keep an attacking piece on the board while black loses tempi to hold their own piece. That's a pretty nice explanation. Not one that comes to mind in such a, concrete-looking position. I feel like I'm looking for concrete aspects, but that's a fair point. I mean, you keep the attacking piece, black's king is still weak, and it's the correct answer, so good job. But yeah, let's find out. So king takes f2. Retaining the bishop for the black knight leaves black with a weak king to take care of. The game instead continue. Yo, so Stephen, you played better than Lasker. Okay, at least that's like a consolation prize for me that I at least played Lasker's move. But he didn't play queen d4. He played knight f5 first, which also makes some sense. Queen d4, f6, when white can take on a7. However, the pawn is not the main thing he has achieved, but instead the tremendous difference between the minor pieces, right? However, black managed to turn the game around and win, which would have been less likely if white had found the strongest second move. What does it mean? Strongest second move, like not second best move, but the second move, queen d4. Very nice, very nice. Let's actually check the difference in eval. I know the Chessable analysis board is garbage in terms of like engine strength, but okay, it's probably better than all of us anyway. So queen d4 keeps a plus 1.8. King takes f2 It's plus 1.5. Okay, we're you know, we're not, and queen d4 is still decent, so it's not terrible. It's not terrible. The main thing is we saw that bishop f6 was bad. But king g8, apparently this is still something to play for. And I considered this queen a7, but I mean, it is risky, and yeah, it looks like actually the queen is completely offside here, and this is, and you know, this is really the target, right? So we shouldn't be even tempted by this pawn. Knight f5 is the better way to go. Yeah, and bishop f8 just holding on by a knife edge, but looks like, yeah, they are surviving. So yeah, interesting position, and good job, Stephen, with the full answer. Yo, Frizz, welcome to the stream. It's been so long. Glad to see you here for some more Woodpecker. It's incredible. If you go back to watch the very first Woodpecker stream that I've done this time round, like a week or two ago, I remembered all of the advice we discussed. So if I do a rundown again, firstly, we need to look at all of our forcing moves, all of the checks, all of the captures. When we calculate, we shouldn't tunnel vision on one line. We should try and have, you know, some shallow calculation on each of our moves. This is very important to be efficient and, you know, not just, you know, just spend all our time on one thing. Any move that potentially disrupts the defense should be considered. Any move that potentially brings in an attacker should be considered. So one of the exercises for stream, rook a d1 was the answer. And I found it quite quickly because, yeah, it's bringing in an attacker. This must be a candidate move. So looking at more candidate moves, shallowly calculating. Yeah, it's going well. It's going well. So I'm proud of myself for remembering all of this advice that we went through and discussed. So yeah, good to see you back. Like, how did your maths exam go? How's all that? And yeah, Stephen elaborates. I think you saw the essence really well. Queen d4, knight g4, knight f5, and then knight h6 threat is mate. I see. You stop there. While your pieces cannot be kicked away, your threat is h3. I can even kick the knight when it's on g4. Yeah. Although kicking the knight, I always thought that the knight can just find a home on either f6 or e5. Probably f6, given that. Oh, but maybe not with these pieces eyeing them up. Right? The knight would probably just be vulnerable. So yeah, maybe just look a bit harder and maybe have more faith in the positional qualities. Oh, this is the same exercise, so queen d4. Okay, let's move to the next one. Okay, so Rubinstein Lasker. So Rubinstein to beat Lasker. Immediately queen d2 comes to mind, and I blunder checkmate in one. Brilliant. Okay, let's have some thoughts about the position. So we got queen, queen, rook, 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 rook. We are down a bishop. We have a pawn for a bishop. Okay, in terms of king safety, I mean, we've got the rook on the line of their king. Their king's a little bit exposed on the queen side. They've got this queen takes g2 threat in the position. We need to be careful of. Of course, their rook is hanging. This bishop is actually pinned, though. That might be important. The queen is loose. We're quite set back, but you never know. These pieces can get quite active pretty quick. So suddenly I start thinking, what if we just play rook takes c6 and then take the rook? Because then that regains our material. But maybe regaining material isn't, you know, the best that we can do. So I think the goal in this position, from a calculation perspective, is we want to you know, remove the threat of checkmate, as well as at least get equal, maybe even get an advantage in this position. So what candidate moves do we have? So we've got rook takes c6 is one. What else could be a candidate here? Do we have any other checks? Queen g4 is garbage. I mean, f3, g3, but they're just so tame compared to rook c6. So I think rook c6 should be considered first, because I really want to take this rook. So maybe we'll go back to candidate moves in a second, but let's calculate this first. So rook c6, they don't have to take our bishop, take our rook, but let's say they do. Then we take on e3. They take on e3, so we've won a rook and a bishop, but we've lost a rook and a pawn. What's the overall material like? So we're a bishop for a pawn down in the starting position. So if we take the bishop, we're up a pawn. They take our rook. They're up a rook for a pawn. We take their rook. We're up a pawn. They take our pawn. It's equal. So it's equal there. Probably we play king h1. And if they take on d4, either with the queen or the rook, let's say they take with the queen, well, I was looking, okay, this is the line I'm looking at. Rook takes c6, pawn takes, queen takes, king h1. If queen takes d4, I was thinking if we take, you know, we do have tabs on this f pawn, but the problem is they've got back rank checkmate now. So, yeah, I'm not sure if I'm completely happy with this because I think we still go down a pawn if they take on d4. So then I wonder, okay, what if rook c6, pawn takes rook, queen takes rook, rook f2? If now they take on d4, then we can actually take and take on f7 because they no longer have back rank mate. Are there any other drawbacks to blocking with the rook? We take and we block with the rook. What if they take with the rook? I mean, it looks very scary. But how bad is a move like queen e2? I mean, we're down a pawn, but our rook is very active. Like, threatening to come into the 7th. I don't think it's busted. I don't think it's busted in that position. So, okay, we've got a position where we've at least got play. So is there anything we can improve on this? It's like, what about d5? d5 also stops mate. But, I mean, they can take with the rook, which hits the queen with tempo, so we still can't take this. Any other moves to consider here? I don't really think so. I don't really think so. I think we just take this bishop. I think this is the only move that makes any sense. Oh, I probably should have considered alternatives here. Ah, no! No, Michael. I literally had this idea at the start. Like, as in I said this idea of, like, putting the queen on d2 to exploit this. But then I realized that I get mate in 1, and I completely forgot I had this theme. And yeah, this is actually what Mark was giving as advice, you know, last stream. But yeah, I consider candidate moves in the first position, and I forget to consider candidates like within a variation. It's like a really bad habit. So yeah, I should have considered candidates here. Now there's no longer a mate threat. It's crazy. So I mean, this is why I'm training like in May, because I need to fix this shit before I get into August and play these tournaments, right? So yeah, Queen C1. How did you guys do, actually? Yeah, pawn down after rook c6 because we still lose d4. You've been following me on the Woodpeckers, Josh. That's great. But it's still on the easies. Well, I skipped the easies, so no wonder I'm ahead. How's chess been, Firdous? Yeah, chess has been pretty good. I mean, I've been playing a bit like in the different countries I visit. Although probably I've been playing more shogi lately to, you know, make the most of like over the board shogi. It's so much fun. Rook b6 and queen c1. Fantastic, Frizz. Good job. Yeah, I tunnel visioned on this f takes e3. Yeah, I mean, these are the bad habits that keep creeping back. But yeah, by the time we grind these woodpeckers, I should be over it. I hope. Yeah, queen c1, very nice move. Because actually, yeah, let me fully understand this. And cool that queen d2 isn't as good because of this rook e5. So let's understand this. So queen c1 in this position. We're currently a rook and a rook down for a pawn, right? Because we just sacked a rook for the bishop. So a rook down for a pawn. Yeah, and in this position, yeah, we're going to win the rook and actually be a pawn up. So we'll actually have an advantage and not just be a pawn down with some play. And I guess in this position, Yeah, rook e5 is not working because we can just simply take it. And rook g3 is not working because we can simply take it and we still win that rook. So yeah, queen c1, very, very nice move. And queen d2 is not working because rook e5 and the queen is hanging. So then you're forced to trade and then you're just lost. So, I mean, queen d2 is the type of move I could have blundered in 2023 in classical. Like, easily I could have just blundered my whole game in a single move like this. It's very possible. So, yeah, glad that 2024 was kind of like fixing these kind of one-move blunders. And hopefully more to come in 2025. So, oh, he does win the pawn back. So maybe we're not going to be a pawn up after all, but at least we'll be equal, which was better than my other line of analysis. My instinct is take on take with the pawn, but let me consider. So the reason I don't like taking with the queen is because after the queen's trade, I feel like black's got the move and maybe he can get active first, although we do pick up this pawn. And maybe actually if he takes here, we're actually the one defending and putting more pressure on. So queen takes is interesting. We also keep our structure a bit more solid. Pawn takes makes you a bit more nervous to weaken the structure with the queen still on the board. But then again, their king is weak too. I mean, maybe that's the reason to keep the queens on the board. So what's actually better here? Fe3. I don't know what's better. There's too much going on. Okay, let's be calm about this. Try and calculate this. So if queen takes e3, probably they want queen takes e3, pawn takes e3, and probably we have to defend rook d7. And probably there's not much in it, to be honest. If anything, I even like black a little bit more. So what about pawn takes e3? Then they probably need to protect c6. They need to move their rook. They don't have any checks. So probably rook d6. But then we got rook takes f7. I think that looks better. So I think this is the move. Yeah. And then rook takes f7. Yeah, again, I didn't stop for candidate moves within that line, but I mean, that looked pretty clear to me. Playing shogi, nobody's perfect. Nice. Shogi's, I mean, it's so much fun. It's so much fun. I mean, I've been heading along to this. Well, it's actually kind of cool. Like the club sessions here in Sapporo, it's basically like for players 2000 rated online and above. That's kind of like the level I would deem it as. And if you're weaker than 2000 online, then you basically show up to the adult sessions while the kids sessions are still going along. So you can kind of play the kids as well. But yeah, basically I turn up and I just get my ass whooped. And it's good fun. It's good fun. But yeah, it's really interesting because the way I play shogi is like how I played chess as a junior. And I realize I have a chess lesson in 1 minute, so I do have to go. But I'll quickly finish by saying that, yeah, the way I play shogi is like playing chess as a junior because basically I would get lost positions all the time in shogi, and then I'm basically swindling my way out. And I actually beat a super strong player at the club who basically just missed that I had this crazy sacrifice that actually turns it around and wins. But I was basically positionally lost from the opening, and I was just groveling. And I mean, that's how I used to play chess as a junior, and which is why, you know, this whole journey of actually playing good chess has been so difficult for me, because I never got good positions as a junior. So it's interesting that that's where my shogi is at, because yeah, I have no understanding and I just play on, you know, calculation and tactics and not much else. But yeah, I do have a lesson starting in 0 minutes, so I need to get going. But thank you guys for all tuning in. Really glad to see some old faces, some new faces, and Stephen, you should if you're playing chess tournaments in the summer, I mean, I think your biggest problem is just basically, you know, sharpness and avoiding one move blunders. I mean, if you do that, I think we can even be talking about FM. To be honest, I think your form and your improvement in understanding and play is just there. So I think if you join these streams, I mean, I'm literally doing this Monday, Wednesday, Friday until August. So basically, I think you should tune in when you can. But okay, good to chat and good to train, and I guess see you on another stream on Wednesday. Okay, see you guys around.